Welcome to our EdTech Lounge. EdTech Lounge, for those of you who are attending it for the first time, it's a virtual space which is organized by the Network of Quality Teaching and Learning. It allows faculty members to learn from each other's experiences. Each week we have a faculty member who shares his or her experience regarding online and remote teaching and shares their challenges and successes with online teaching and learning, which will help our other faculty members who are already on the road of converting the current curriculum into an online curriculum, and also for those who are taking the first step. So with this, I would like to introduce our presenter for today, Dr. Kausar. Dr. Kausar Jabin is going to be with us at our EdTech Lounge today. Dr. Kausar Jabin is Associate Professor and a consultant microbiologist in the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine. And she's also currently the Vice Chair of the UGME Curriculum Committee. With this, I would like to invite Dr. Kausar Jabin. Dr. Kausar, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Abir. Okay, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so as Abir has very nicely introduced that I am an associate professor in the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, as well as I am currently the Vice Chair of Undergraduate Curriculum Committee. So the topic that I will be presenting today is planning to conduct team-based learning sessions online during this COVID pandemic. So first I will share that I have no conflict of interest to declare. And then the objectives of these sessions include revisit of team-based learning or TBL as a teaching learning strategy, of how TBL in class differs from TBL online, and I will also summarize the key differences between the problem-based learning and team-based learning as well. Then what are the essential elements and best practices for TBL sessions that has to be conducted online, steps that are required to conduct TBL online at AKU, and what is our current status and how will we move forward. Okay. So as you are all aware that due to the closure of colleges, the medical schools in Pakistan, the AKU has started conducting the online remote teaching just 3 days after the college closure. And this is how the sessions are being planned, and we hope that June 1 the students will be able to resume colleges. The online remote teaching methodologies included large class formats, case-based discussions, problem-based learning sessions. Okay, so this was going on smoothly. Then this notification came. We were notified that colleges will not be open till July 15. So what then happened? The infectious disease and immunity module was next in line within the year 2, and the major teaching learning strategy for small group learning in this module had been the team-based learning sessions. So we had so far conducted problem-based learning sessions online, but we were not prepared, although we were doing a little bit of preparation, but we thought that students would have joined back, so we were not very actively pursuing the online TBL. But with this situation, now we have to move towards online TBL. Okay, so just to revisit what is team-based learning or TBL, it is a very, very powerful form of small group teaching, which highlights that students become prepared to the class, and they learn to apply the knowledge that they have come prepared with to solve real world problems. Okay, so this is the main beauty of team-based learning session. So the differences between PBL, this is a busy slide, but I will highlight some major differences between PBL and team-based learning. PBL In PBL, students are divided into small groups in different rooms with one teacher present or one facilitator present, physically present in each group. In team-based learning, one facilitator or one teacher manages many small teams and all students are sitting in a same room. Okay? Then students are already provided with objectives and they come prepared to the session, and first they are tested on the knowledge that they have come prepared with. In PBL, students are not come prepared to the session. They are introduced to the case within the PBL session, and then they develop objectives and then they prepare accordingly. Here, teacher decides that what is the content that class will study, and teacher provides that learning material relevant to the session. Feedback in PBL is mainly is also peer based and facilitator based, but here in PBL the feedback is mainly peer based. The students evaluate each other on their participation, on their group discussion, etc. Okay. So if I explain the typical TBL cycle, it occurs in 3 phases. The white box highlights the out of class preparation. The green box highlights in class preparation. So in phase 1, what happens is that teacher provides the objectives as well as relevant teaching material, and students are given time to study about this particular type of session, and usually they are provided with a 10 to 15 days of margin to study this particular objective. Then the second step or second phase is that the facilitator assesses whether students have come prepared, and how the facilitator assess. They first take an individual readiness assessment test. This is a simple test based on usually MCQs ranging from 5 to 10 or maybe so every student have to attempt this test. Okay. Then what happens is that students are then divided into small groups. The groups are assigned with the group leader, and now the groups will take the same test but after discussing with their peers, and they come up with one response. Then this test results are presented to the instructor, and instructor debates each of the question and clarifies and review, and then can provide the students can appeal to the instructor clarification, and they can say that why they think that a particular response was correct or not, and then the facilitator can clarify and agree or disagree to them. The final step of phase 3 is now whatever knowledge the students have gained, they use this knowledge to solve certain exercises. They are known as application exercises, where there are some challenging scenario, the real life scenario or real life problem is given to them, and they have to apply the knowledge to solve this problem. And finally, the final step is peer evaluation, where students, because students themselves feel accountable for their learning, they have to evaluate their peers about their contribution. Okay? So this is a typical TBL cycle. And the 4 TBL essentials that we have to keep in mind, whether we are doing an online TBL or in-class TBL, that's there should be a proper management of group. Teams assignments should promote both learning and teamwork. Students must receive frequent and timely feedback, and students must be held accountable for the quality of their individual and group work. And how do you make them accountable? That is done at multiple steps. You administer individual and group test as well as their participation in application exercises. Okay, so when we talk about in-person TBL or in-class TBL, it occurs at same time, same place, and usually this sort of room is most, you can observe that there are different groups of students sitting in the same room. There are different screens, and if you can see at this extreme right, there is a teacher, single teacher sitting and organizing all things. So if any one of you have visited our CIME at AKU Karachi, you have seen a multi-purpose hall. That multi-purpose hall fulfills the criteria of this TBL very well, and where their students can sit in group and have this type of environment. Okay, then I will explain different types of online TBL. One type of TBL is synchronous online TBL, where same time the session is being conducted, but students are sitting at different places and they are connected by audio or video conferencing. And if I show you a 2-hour session, how you can plan your 2-hour session including all component of TBL and make a schedule like this. Okay, so you can administer IRAT, TPRET, application exercises and feedback. Okay, so this is synchronous. Then there is asynchronous online session, where you can expand the session over 1 week, where on Monday, for example, you administer IRAT, Tuesday, Wednesday you administer TRAT, and Thursday, Friday application exercises can be done. Okay. Third type of online TBL is hybrid, where you can, for example, if you are planning to conduct 10 TBL session over a course of module, you conduct few sessions synchronous, and then afterwards you can go for asynchronous session. So these are the types of online TBL. So the proposed sequence of an online TBL is as such. I will highlight this module 0 or TBL orientation. This is said to be a very, very important step of an online TBL, where you explain to the class before conducting the actual TBL session that what are the course objectives. You make teams, you develop bonding between the students. They can introduce yourself, and then you do a dry run sort of thing, that they become aware of what should they expect when there will be an actual TBL session. Okay, and then rest of the things are similar to the in-class TBL session, except when you you first ask students to join one class when you are doing individual readiness assessment test. But when you develop teams, you break them into different breakout rooms, and they virtually go to those breakout rooms, and then they discuss, and then they come again to the main classroom and they explain their responses, and then they go back to their breakout rooms to discuss the application exercise, and then they come back again to the main classroom. So this is something which is a bit challenging, and I will discuss that how can we take care of that. Okay. So rationale for online TBL, a lot of explanation and things have been given in the literature, but it has been said that this is by no means a replacement for an in-person TBL, and usually it is recommended to extend access to remote locations and multiple sites, and to enhance the existing online learning, especially in situations where there are disaster epidemics, very well to our COVID-19 situation, when we have this, we have to conduct distant learning sessions and we have to conduct online. Okay. So then with this background, the UGME team and Year 1, 2 chairpersons and myself and our IT support and admin staff, we came together and we discussed that can we conduct an online TBL at AKU? And then after a lot of discussion, deliberation and seeing many things, we decided that yes, that this can be possible. But there were some things that we decided that we have to take care of them. We decided that preparation is already important for any sort of online activity, but for online TBL, the preparation is extremely important. You have to be well prepared. You have to take care of every aspect. Then technology coordination, practice, what will happen that if anything goes wrong, if there is a communication, because as I have explained, that students have to go back and forth to main class and then their breakout rooms. So there is a time lag, or there could be differences of communication between one group to other. So there has to be a flexibility, that you should have to have a time flexibility and contact flexibility that you have to take care of. Okay. The key elements that should be retained in online TBL are a bit different, because the online TBL, there is a very fast-paced learning environment. There will be a lot of energy between students, and definitely there will be a competition between teams. So you have to take care of that. Students should feel belong. For that, the orientation session is very important. You have to introduce yourself to the students. The students have to introduce themselves, and then you have to engage them every now and then to make them belong, to keep them engaged. The problem that you will give to them, the students, is very, very important. The problem should be significant. It is said that there should be 4S. It should be significant, it should be safe, it is very important that you design your problem that it raises curiosity amongst the student, it promotes critical thinking, and it promotes teamwork as well. Preparation is important. You have to make students accountable. It is extremely important. Then collaboration. By collaboration, I mean that students have to respect all points of view. They have to consider other students, other teams' point of view. They have to revisit their concepts, and they have to remove their misconception. Soft skills like time management, interpersonal skill, and communication, they are also important. So this slide may seem busy to you, but what is given over here in that, in first panel, the upper panel, these are all essential elements of an online TBL. And what could be the challenges and how to counteract with these challenges. So I will not read each and every of them, but as you can see that there should be a lot of flexibility in your approach when you are administering an online TBL. So if you can see that you may have to modify your timelines, you may have to go for sometimes synchronous to asynchronous sort of thing. You may have to allocate extra time to students. Okay, for example, for team cohesion, you may have to encourage that students should introduce themselves. You may have to ask them to keep their cameras on so that they can you can go. For communication, you have to set expectation for them. You may have to give some reward. You may have to assign team leaders on a rotation basis, that this time you are a team leader and other time some other person can be a team leader. Okay, then you have to make them accountable. You have to use nicely prepared individual readiness assessment test. You can randomize question delivery, and you can shuffle answer choices, because they may discuss them again, because same sort of test will be given in individual and group readiness assessment test. Then definitely problem solving and everything. So you have to be a lot of flexible. You have to be well prepared to manage any challenge, and you have to do a lot of practice and preparation. Okay. So what were our steps to move on to the online TBL? So we have assigned different personnel with different roles. So these are the 5 roles that usually should be there whenever an online TBL is designed. And IT personnel should be there. The IT personnel will take care of the web conferencing, how to allocate students to the virtual breakout rooms, open and close so smooth transition from one breakout room to the main class or vice versa. Administrative staff will set up the session, start and end the individual and group readiness assessment test and application exercise. They can be a channel to display the team clarification requests, etc. Facilitator also has a very, very important role. The facilitator can provide an introduction and orientation, facilitation of discussion, and application exercises. Discipline expert definitely has to be there to provide the content expertise and to clarify students' concept. Course coordinator will design the module. It is said that it is not necessary that 5 people should be there. the roles can be, two roles can be assigned by one person. For example, a facilitator can also be a discipline expert, or a discipline expert can also be a facilitator, and vice versa. Okay. Then technical requirements have to be planned out very carefully. You have to select one web conference tool and the learning software. So web conference room, main requirement of this conference tool is that you should be able to move students into different virtual breakout rooms, and that facility is available on many platforms. Zoom is one of the platforms. We are already using Microsoft Teams, and we have planned that we will continue to use Microsoft Teams for our online TBL sessions as well. Learning software for posting of reading material, individual readiness assessment tests. So we have decided that we will use VLE for this sort of activity. Then instructor preparation. Clear guidance should be provided to instructors. They have to be very clear about the requirement, content, goals, objectives. They have to plan and document detailed schedule, step by step, that what will happen, student will come, then how the time will be divided. Okay? And then they have to provide timing for each activity. Application exercise should be developed very specific and clear, and it is said that breakout transition should be minimum. So I have searched literature, and it is said that during an online TBL, it is important that the breakout transitions should be limited to no more than 2 breakouts. Okay, so because this causes a lot of disruption and loss of time, so this should be minimum. Learner preparation is extremely important. You have to prepare teams and pre-inform the students so that they can relate to their group's team members, and they can informally also chat with them. Okay. Then team, it is said that for in-class TBL, the team members can be up to 8 and 9. However, for online TBL, it is recommended that the teams should not be more than of 5 students. Ideal size is 4, 5 or 6, not more than that. Then you have to instruct them about their technological requirement and other things. You have to give them detailed instructions and schedule. What will happen and what are your expectations from them. Should explain key function of communication, chat function, raising hand, etc., and how to move in and move out from the virtual breakout rooms. You have to ensure social presence and engagement, chat and video by asking participant to do a chat introduction and keep their video camera on. Okay? And then definitely it is recommended that in initial sessions, because students may be confused and you yourself may be confused, you should have an additional support. For example, it is important that in initial sessions to channel the discussion within each individual breakout rooms, and to avoid time loss, a facilitator should be there in the each team. This is for initial sessions only, and then the students can do that very well on their own. Okay. Then facilitation. The facilitator should be well prepared to respond to questions, to students' query, because there will be a lot of queries coming up from the students. There will be different IRAT, TRAT application exercises. The facilitator have to use clarification. The facilitator have to ask rationale for the student response, and if students are not engaging and the facilitator can call out names of the students, and like certain teams, if they are not participating, the facilitator can encourage to the participation from them. Okay, and then timing control is very important. So the facilitator should be flexible enough if he or she anticipates that one application exercise is taking a lot of time, so the facilitator can hold on to the other application exercise and administer only if time permits. Okay. Then the facilitator can also visit breakout rooms of teams that are moving very slowly. So facilitator role is also very, very important during online TBL session. And at the end, definitely debriefing, evaluation, and grading. So debriefing is very important. What went okay, what went wrong, and it will allow you to improve your next TBL sessions. Okay, faculty and students both should evaluate. Grading. Okay, it is important that a TBL session performance by the student is graded, and you don't award marks, but you say that whether the performance of student was satisfactory or not satisfactory. Peer evaluation will be similar to as there is they do on classroom. So peer evaluation is again important. It will conduct, and then you have to make some plan B, C, and D, because there is a possibility that something may go wrong, and you anticipate this, and you try to remain calm if anything that you have not planned happens. And last thing is that you have to conduct first a mock. It is very important that you have to conduct a mock or dry run with students, so that you will understand that if there is a problem or there is challenge, and when you do an actual mock actual session, you will be aware that how to counteract that particular challenge. So this is a summary that online TBL improves access and enhances learning, but it does not replace in-person TBL. The modalities could be synchronous, asynchronous, and hybrid, and you can be flexible in your approach, and you may plan your initial TBL sessions synchronous, and you may move to asynchronous later on. Preparation, technology, and communication is more important. It is important for in-class TBL, but it becomes more important in online TBL. So let me update you that we are in planning phase. We have preparing students, faculty, and other sort of instructions, and revising cases to suit to the online TBL. And our next step is to do a mock TBL to identify issues before the actual TBL session. So we expect that this TBL session will be conducted from the module, which will be starting from June 15. And once we have an experience with this, I will come back and I'll share my experience and feedback. So thank you very much.